You did.
I'll be quiet.
Benny made out that he knew more about wedding dresses than we did. So welcome to the Laura and Benny show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome, Grace. We've got Grace from Diamond Bridal today. We're going to talk everything wedding dresses.
Yep.
Everything, Grace. It's going to get deep.
I've done my homework.
Benny, you got 2 pages.
I did. I was up early this morning.
Fair
Did some
do.
homework. I'm
Half
ready for
5
questions.
now this
When
morning.
you don't know what to talk about, because I know like sometimes you figure out you're kind of quiet and don't know what to say. I've got you covered.
I don't think I've ever been quiet in my entire... Grace is like, yeah, Laura's never been quiet in her entire life. But I suppose for people, because a wedding dress is something you buy once.
Yes.
So we haven't got the experience of going in, buying wedding dresses, and it can be a very, very kind of daunting, where do I start? Like, what's the starting point? How do I actually start the process? When should I start the process? How should I start the process? But is there kind of a sweet spot for when you should go dress shopping?
I would say no. Everyone is different. Some people like to be super organised. Okay. Like we have girls that have ordered their dresses that are getting married in 2026.
Wow.
And we get people rocking up and they're getting married in 2 months' time. So it just depends on personalities. Like the rule of thumb is generally 12 months prior to the wedding, but we'll always get somebody sorted. And if somebody wants just to be organised, we can defer delivery and things like that. So
is that the point of, I was kind of one of my kind of things, if you want a stress-free process, like what's the kind of sweet spot? So you're probably talking like 18 months to 12 months is kind of like that nice gentle window where the whole kind of making and tailoring is like, there's loads of room there, is there, if you kind of that window?
Yeah, so generally like when you come in and when you find your dress, most designers, it will take 5 to 6 months for the dress to be made, because obviously it's made by one person, it's made from scratch. And then by the time it comes in, and we need to allow time for alterations and things like that. So, to have more of a choice and to have a relaxed process, we would say around about that. But if you don't have that amount of time, that's fine too. There's always,
because there is short engagements. Like people do decide, like I'm getting married there now in 3 or 4 months. And I suppose it's good to point out, because you don't want people thinking, oh well, I can't go into Grace because I'm only having a 4-month engagement and there won't be time to get the wedding dress. And if it's a case, if it's that close to the wedding, is it like, is off the rack the right phrase?
Yes.
Or okay.
You'll be taking my job next. So yes, we do have a lot of dresses that can be sold off the rack. So we're now in the midst of buying season again, and anything kind of 2023 collections and prior. Hello, puppy.
Oh, puppy, go down.
She's fine. Anything from previous collections we can sell off the rack. So there's always those options for people. And I suppose if you're a bride that is on more of a budget, that could be a good option for you as well. Because obviously if you're buying off the peg, you are looking at cheaper options.
Grace just rescued a puppy, as she was telling me. So I think our puppy is smelling your puppy, Grace. And it's like, and you've got a cat too, don't you?
I have a cat and a puppy.
So she's also smelling the cat. Go find
and
our
is that
cats.
like an industry term or kind of an industry thing where people are understanding why some places don't sell off the rack or whatever? Are there certain kind of clauses with certain designers where you can and can't? Is that kind of a thing within the industry, or people are trying to understand as to what's going on and where I can go and where I can't go?
Yeah, it's individual to boutiques. And I suppose for us, we just try to cater for everybody, regardless of budget, size, time frame, that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, cool.
Very inclusive altogether, Grace. Great to hear. Everybody come in. Let's go shopping.
We had a brief chat. Like that's one thing that really kind of came across. It's not just, you're not just selling a product, like you've just got dresses and you're just selling them. It's kind of, you're trying to build kind of an experience whereby someone actually gets a quality service level and then also kind of like gets a full experience. So you full knowledge from, like you're just back from a buyer strip, you're saying, and it's like you share your full information from the back end to the front end. And I suppose you're not just kind of just selling and turning people over, you're kind of giving them more of an experience. Yeah,
like the dress itself is a small part of it. Obviously it's a big part, but it's like for the overall experience, it's the most important item of clothing most women will ever wear. So, and like it's our job to make people feel 100% confident. So when the bride comes into us, it's a completely private appointment. Like we block out the entire bridal suite for one bridal party. So they're not seeing anybody else. It's a very private thing as well. And Cork is quite a small place, even though it's a huge population. Everyone seems to be connected and know each other.
Everyone knows everyone, Grace. That's crazy.
So we do stagger appointments. So like we have people coming in at different times and they're not crossing over.
Early and late appointments. Yeah.
Things like that.
That's
And
nice.
then the bridal suite is for the bride and her bridal party.
Okay.
Nobody else is there. You know, we make the play, like the boutique itself, quite a relaxed environment.
Okay.
Just
I
to
always
make
think
it
of
feel
Say Yes
nice.
to the Dress when I think of these
Okay.
scenarios.
Yeah,
But that wasn't a private thing. I was always laughing at, you know, do you remember that TV program, Say Yes to the Dress? And they'd be going in and there'd just be like these multiple people all over this massive store putting on dresses.
Yeah.
I much prefer the idea of a private space.
That's a very American thing. Actually, we do stock Randy Fenoli, who is the presenter of we stock his designs. He's the presenter of Yes to the Dress.
Right.
We were in Amsterdam 2 weeks ago to meet him. We actually had our own workshop with him and everything. It was amazing.
Brilliant.
But what he does, like he's in Kleinfeld in New York, which is massive store.
Yeah.
And he's going from appointment to appointment, and there's people on the podium here and here and here, and there's a big massive bright. No, it's not like that. It's not like that.
That was when we were watching that show, and there's one thing I think of. I was like, can you imagine being one of the girls just kind of like isn't in the show, but you're just kind of off in the background, trying on things that don't suit you, and it's on TV. Yeah.
And in reality, how was that experience? Because like when you kind of talk about like the TV show and stuff, like is it a genuine thing where there's a gaggle of people coming in, or is it kind of like, are some people more private and they're just bringing one or two people? What's the kind of trend? I know everyone like we always say, some people like that photograph, they don't like that photograph, that film, that music, whatever. Everyone has a different approach. But like, what is actually happening in reality if people are kind of like going, I feel like I should or shouldn't bring someone, or I have to bring someone? You probably don't.
Again, I do think it's up to the individual personality. Our advice is always keep it to a minimum and keep it to people that you're relaxed with and people that will be honest.
Yeah.
Now, look, if they want to bring 10 people, that's absolutely fine.
It's pretty rare though, is it?
Not as rare as you think.
Oh, really?
Not as rare
Okay.
as you think. But like our advice for the bride's sake, as opposed to raise, would be like maybe one or two people that you just feel you're most comfortable with.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a lot of people there's a lot of opinions.
I was going to say, it's too many voices almost, you know, because it's hard enough to like pick your own wedding dress, but it's too many voices. Does that sometimes, like, you know the way, say you've got 10 people, for example, and like 5 of them are saying, they're like crying, that's the dress, you look amazing, and the other 5 are just sitting there quietly going, I don't like that. Is that harder for the person actually picking, do you find?
Absolutely. Yeah. And they're trying to please them as opposed to please themselves. I always say to the bride, no matter what anyone says or thinks, you're the one that's wearing it. Okay. You're the one that needs to feel amazing in this.
Yeah.
Okay, you can take people's opinion, obviously.
Yeah.
And we won't let anybody go out in something that we don't think is going to be the best dress for them.
That's hard for you, Grace, though. Is it? Do you like, as in not hard, but like it's kind of, I have always find like, as a friend, I suppose as a friend to my friends kind of thing, if I had a friend that was even just going out and you look at them and go, oh, I can't leave the house like that. Like, you know, you might have had a quick glance, but you're like, oh no, like there's something much better there for you. And it's kind of like, you feel like it's the honest, like it's not in a mean way or anything, but it's the honest friend that says, you look good, but I've seen you in better. I know you can wear better. But is that hard for you guys to kind of, if someone's like, oh, I love this, and you're kind of looking going, it's just not the right style or shape or something for you, kind of thing. I know there's something better.
And like when we do feel that way, it's rare, to be honest, because when we give them all of the options and they take our advice, you know, like we do have girls often and, you know, Instagram and whatever, and they come in with screenshots and the person in the picture looks nothing like them.
Yes.
And they want to try on that dress, and we kind of say, absolutely, let's go for it. But I think this would suit your figure better, or this kind. And you know, there are ways around it.
That help is invaluable, though.
Yeah, and they appreciate that.
Okay, good.
They really do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not in our best interest, regardless of how much somebody's going to spend with us. It's not in our interest for them to come along, and you guys are photographing them, and. You know, they're kind of saying,
right.
Who let her out? You know, we wouldn't do that. And like, we just want the bride to feel her most beautiful and be the happiest she's ever been in an item of clothing. That's our goal. And thankfully
I think we've all though wore something that when you go out then you realise this just doesn't work or it doesn't suit me, whatever it is. Everybody's done that. And I suppose people have to remember on a wedding day, you're doing so much activities. It's kind of like, grand if you want a style or something, but you're going to a church, you're probably then going to get photographs, you're going to be effectively in a bar scenario where in your drinks reception, and then you're in a dining situation for your dinner, and then you're going dancing later on. So you're doing like 5 or 6 different activities, and then whatever your personality is, you might want to go, I really want to move around, but then someone else is like, I really want a style. So it's kind of, it's to be aware of that in the wedding dress, I suppose.
And like you have to be practical as well. Like, and we do get people coming in and they want to wear big ball gowns, and you're kind of saying, okay, but you're getting married in a garden, or you I suppose you have to dress for your venue. Luckily, that's where our added extras kind of come in, as in like if somebody wants to wear the big ball gown, but they're doing something later on in the evening that doesn't warrant that, we would advise an overskirt. So they're wearing that, you know, sleek fitted dress with the overskirt over it. Maybe add a sleeve that can be taken off afterwards. So there are loads of options. Loads and
that is one of the my favorite things I've seen, because like you've got the bustle, and the bustle works great most of the time, kind of thing. When I say bustle, and we can go into that later on, but you can just make the dress shorter at the back. That's a really simple explanation of it. So you can go dancing. But the skirt, it's kind of like, I feel like you do see in the year where people will buy 2 wedding dresses. They'll have one for earlier in the day and then one for what they kind of look as the party of the day and make a reveal. But the having the overskirt on the dress, I find that because we'd be there and we would see kind of people's reactions once it comes off, that like when that skirt is taken off later on and you're just wearing, as you said, that sleek dress, or when you decide to remove a sleeve, as you were saying, kind of thing, the amount of people that look at the bride and go, oh, you've got a second dress. I didn't know you were doing 2 dresses. And they have, because it does look totally different for later. So it's a nice way of kind of doing 2 different styles.
Absolutely. You know, we do have people that come in, they want 2 looks, and we show them this, because I think like you have to love your dress so much that you don't want to take it off. Also the cost of it, you know, having to get 2 as opposed to like just getting 1 and having your little add-ons, the amount of time it's going to take in alterations, things like that. So I look, it's personal choice, but for me, go with 1, and if you want to change things up, then absolutely. We even have a few dresses from this season that are short underneath. And when they're on, they don't look like it doesn't look as if they're short underneath, but when the skirt comes off, they're like knee length or midi length, or
so you kind of got a little party dress.
You wouldn't really see that, like when you say that, I'll resign, like wow, it's because like you don't see that. So something like that, when you say that, that's
hope we see that now.
If that's a new trend, it's nice to see something different, or kind of like that would be kind of a wow factor. I think if you came into your dancing later on and there was a complete change and it was really obvious, even that lads would notice, it would be like, that'd be impressive.
I love that, really notice that lads would notice.
But it's gas, like, but it's like...
Oh, it's so true. Sure, groomsmen would be like, oh yeah, you're still wearing white, are you?
We probably told the story loads, but like one of the funniest stories was when Laura was like told to wait in the lobby because she was going to come down the stairs and kind of there would be a reveal to himself. But like himself just started talking at her.
He didn't notice. She was wearing her jeans. Yeah, her own groom didn't notice. She changed the dress.
She thought it was so funny because it was so him, like.
But I suppose in the day, so much goes on that sometimes it just goes over your head because you just like, you're not seeing the details because it's just all a blur and everything's happening. But on the subject of trends, do you find that like, do people, because you mentioned earlier on as well, like showing you Instagram pictures and what you see on, you know, what is trending online. Do you find a lot of people do they really want to be on trend? Or are they more kind of like, I just want it to be me? Well, I think you need to dress for your personality. You know, if you're used to a particular even neckline, or if you're, you know, something that suits you and you're comfortable with it, I think you need to feed that into your wedding dress. The wedding dress is not the same, or it's not the day to be experimenting with styles. It really isn't. And the same with the hair and makeup artists will tell you this, you know, if they've always wear their hair up, wear your hair up on your wedding day. You want to look like yourself. That's who your partner fell in love with.
We get asked for glasses. Is it okay if I wear my glasses? Don't wear my glasses. And we always say, if you're going on a night out, wear your would you wear glasses? And they go, yeah. And go, wear your glasses. Be yourself. Wear your hair the way it is. Do you like it? And like don't go too extreme.
Or even people like hiding their tattoos. I'm like, again, it's a personal thing, but I'm like, that's you. You know, that's an expression of you and your personality.
And actually, that's a really good thing to bring up, Grace, the tattoo covering thing, because I've been at many mornings where there's been kind of, you know, whether you regret the tattoo or you don't want Nan to see that tattoo. There could be a few reasons that you don't want the tattoo on show. But if you've got a large tattoo on your back and you buy a backless wedding dress, you're now getting into using some sort of makeup product that the makeup artist will help you with as a cover up. But I always kind of, in those moments, I always feel a bit fearful that I'm like, if you sweat or if it transfers, like, 'cause it's white and brown, like it's going to, like it's going to stand out.
It may or may not work.
It may or may not work. But it's kind of like, in those cases, I think it's probably important that if someone was coming into you to say, okay, listen, I have this tattoo on my back. I love it, but I don't want someone to see it, or I hate it and I want no one to see it. It's not to be my wedding photos. It's kind of like, that's going to dictate, I suppose, the style. Yeah.
And it may not even be a tattoo, it could be a scar, it could be a surgery scar, things like that. And I think, like, there are amazing products on the market that you can cover up and things like that. But I'm with you. I'm like, you know, if you don't want your back on show, don't wear a backless dress.
Okay.
You know.
Same with your arms, I suppose. Some people are quite conscious about their arms and they don't like themselves in side profiles, or do you know, that kind of way. So it's kind of, you kind of either your place, and you find some days with they might not have wanted to wear a sleeve, because a sleeve isn't for everybody, kind of thing. But I suppose the obvious thing is to, if you never show your arms when you're going out and you were to wear a blazer or a sleeve, then again, as you said, don't change who you are on your wedding day. Because there's some days you find the girls and you can see them, they're just kind of a little bit conscious, and this goes on quite a lot, kind of thing. And you find they're wearing a veil, that they're constantly like pulling the veil over the arm. But then I always feel kind of a little bit sorry for them, because they're just not kind of like free to kind of just move around, or not worried about what angle they're at, or you know, like wave your arms in the air if you want to.
YMCA.
Exactly.
And are there situations when sleeves work or don't work, or kind of how does that work?
Yeah, like sometimes when people come in, they're conscious of their arms by putting something there. It's drawing attention to the area.
Yeah, that's a good point as well.
Like a lot of the time, we would encourage like a big embellishment on the waist, or something that will draw the eye. Yeah,
I like it.
It's just all about deception and enhancing the parts where you're really comfortable with. And just not putting anything in the parts you wear. So that sometimes works. But if somebody is adamant they don't want to have a sleeve, or they don't want to show their arms, then absolutely there are ways of doing it, but I wouldn't put it like too obvious that it's going to draw someone's eye to a part that you don't want to see.
Okay. And while we're on talking about, like, you know, accentuating your assets.
Yes.
We all know where I'm going with this. So cleavage. Yeah. Because like there are some dresses that they're so low cut they're almost to the navel kind of thing. And then there's some dresses that are obviously much more modest. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that obviously, so if you're wearing a dress that's a little bit more low cut, but you don't want to accidentally give someone, you know, a little peep of your nipple or something here and there, it's kind of like, so I suppose underwear, like that kind of choice if you're picking a low cut dress, you need to probably think about, are you going to tape? Are you going to actually get some sort of underwear customized, or can you help with that, or is that
So like all of the designers that we work with, they have built-in structure in underwear, so you don't need to wear a bra.
I love this. This is like literally music to my ears, Grace.
No, you don't. And that's why we always do a final fitting the week beforehand, because with the nature brides, body shapes will change a little bit or whatever. So in order for the dress to fit them 100%. Some girls are very happy to show a little bit of cleavage. Others
I'm like, if you use cleavage when you're going out normally, cleavage is totally fine. I think it's lovely sometimes, especially in summer.
Yeah,
you kind of got a bit of skin and it's lovely.
And deep V's are very on trend at the moment as well. So it's whatever you're most comfortable with. It really is. But it's also very important to have it fitting correctly, that you know, it's not gaping, or you're not going to have like
you don't feel like you're going to fall out. Walk up the aisle and be like, "Good morning, father." But no, it's a really good point. So all your dresses, you don't have to worry about the underwear side of it, that it's actually built in.
No.
That's amazing.
And we often get girls coming for fittings with bras, and they like, I actually don't remember a time recently that anyone has had to wear a bra with the dress because they're all built in already. We do add cups as well, different cups if you need to. So yeah.
That's kind of
one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like thinking of everything, because like, you know, a lot of people tape and stick, and it's grand in hindsight kind of thing, but a lot of time it moves and it comes off.
And it's not practical. And then, like, again, that's Spanx as well would be another, or whatever.
I think we all know what Spanx are.
I know, just
suck me in underwear.
I don't want to be naming any particular brands. There are lots of
but I think we all just say Spanx. We don't mean the brand Spanx. We just use it like casually.
Yeah, exactly. But again, like the seamstress inside of us, she's like, it has to go somewhere, and she's so right. She's like, take it off.
Totally right though, because if you roll it up from here, it's going to have to come out over here. If you roll it from your thighs, it has to. Yeah, you're totally right.
So I think that the dress that you choose, you shouldn't have to wear any support underwear with. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then I suppose, so like you touched on the fit has to be right. And say if you're a bride that like, you're a 2026 bride. Am I right? Yeah, 2000. Yes. I was like, what year is it? 2000. I was like, did I go 20 years beyond? Yeah. If you're a 2026 bride, and say you're planning to lose a bit of weight, or you're planning to tone up, or you're planning to, you could be doing anything to change something, just to improve on what you see as a part of your body that you'd like to kind of feel more confident about. Yeah. It's kind of, I know, so you could go shopping now, you could order the dress you want, but I'm assuming the fitting would happen a lot closer to the wedding. Yeah. So what you do between now and in 2 years' time, like, does it make much of a difference, or can it be extreme?
We would always say go by the measurements on the day of purchase. Okay. And then 8 weeks before the wedding, the alteration process begins. Okay. Like every bride is going to be different from the majority of people. Some people say the same, and I'm very jealous of those people. But
but we all do. Like 12 months time and 24 months time, we're all going to change, whether it's up or down.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And with an event coming up, we all automatically go to, right, okay, I'm going to be good. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to do all these things.
But then a lot of time, when people are at the gym, they're bulking up.
Yeah,
so
toning.
Yeah, exactly. Muscle. So they might be slimmer, but they're also bigger in other areas and things like that. So that's why the alterations come into play. Nearer the time, we have a lot of people that say, "Oh, can I order a size down? Can I go 2 sizes down? I'm going to be 3 stone lighter." Yeah. No. Yeah. Like, you do not want to put yourself under any sort of pressure.
Yeah. Like, it should be amazing if you did it, but at the same time, life gets in the way.
But even at that, like, so someone who actually kind of like has a plan, I'm going to do this, and actually does it really well, to guess what that is in the end, like you could overstep that challenge or beat the challenge or the goal, like to hit a target on the button, like it's probably impossible.
I think so. Yeah, it really is. So that's always been our advice. Okay. You know, and if somebody does insist on you know, sizing up or sizing down, it's like, okay, sign here, it's on you. but like, to be fair, like 99% of the time they take our advice, and when they come in for their alterations, whether they've gained a bit of weight, whether they've lost a bit of weight, it doesn't matter. It can be tweaked. Like nobody is going to fit into the perfect size anyway, so we would always tweak a dress to fit the person.
Okay. And you know, when you say like alterations, I think people's brain automatically goes to a little tweak on the waist, a little tweak on the hips, these kind of things. But you know, the way I meet brides and they're like, I say, oh my God, the dress is like, I've never seen a dress like it, and then they kind of start pointing out to me what it was to start with, and then all the things they did. Sorry, go down, Ben.
She's having a
zoomy
Come
mood.
On, down you get.
Good girl. She wants the cakes. Actually, thanks for the cakes, Grace. Everyone needs to stop bringing cakes. It's too much cake. Speaking of size, I literally will be 2 stone heavier by the time the podcasts are over. But yeah, so it's not like, I think people's brains go to like, you know, a little bit of a hem tweak or a waist tweak or these little things. But there's loads you can do when it comes to alterations, when it comes to tweaking the dress. Is there anything you've seen that's kind of like stands out in your mind that they did something you're like, oh my God, that's amazing, that's something different? Or is it usually like add a sleeve or change a neckline? Or, you know, some people say to me, this actually used to have a huge train, I got rid of the train. Do many people kind of change things like to an extreme like that, or is it more the small tweaks?
Depends. A lot of the time it is small, but they can change. And like, if somebody's in doubt, I'm always like, look, go with what it is. Okay. We can always change it afterwards. So like, if they then want to add the sleeve, if they then want to lose the train, losing the train for me is like, I don't know. Like, is that are you ordering the right dress if you want?
Should you have gotten something without a train? I know what you mean. Yeah,
and that's where your
true.
bustle comes into play as well. So we can just pop it up and
done. Yeah, done. Easy.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, because we've mentioned bustles twice, and everyone's like, what is a bustle? Because even some bridesmaids on a day, like, you know, there's some, like, you can see the quiet bridesmaids in the corner, and people are talking about bustles, and she's like, I have no idea what's going on here. What's this word? Yeah. So do you want to explain to people actually what bustling a dress is?
Yes, absolutely. The majority of dresses will have trains.
Okay.
So for the evening time, obviously it's not practical to dance or to move around with the train. So we put what's called a bustle. Some bustles are easier than others. Like if it's a very sleek satin dress, it's just a matter of putting like invisible button and putting it up.
Just like done. I love those ones. You literally just find it and you tweak it up and it's there.
And then ball gowns with like multiple layers underneath that, they are going to be a little bit more tricky, but it's all doable.
Yeah,
it is all doable.
I suppose because you've got wider material, don't you, with the ball gown, so it can't just come up from the back because it would see left to the sides. Is that kind of what that is? Yeah.
What we do is when the bride comes for her final fitting, we say bring whoever's going to be bustling on the evening, and if that isn't possible because, you know, with the nature of people live in different places and whatever, I will be there and I'll take a video of Mary, the seamstress.
Many of your videos.
I'm always like, you know, you could be there in the evening. We're showing you how to do it, but then the wedding day it's totally different. And you're like,
and there's a few glasses of prosecco in as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So once the video is there and we're giving you do this, do that, you know, it's much easier. So that's that's something that we do. Yeah.
Okay, so it just makes it easier to move around the dance floor. Yeah. And actually, because people ask me this on the wedding day, and it's kind of like I say, do it when you're ready. There's no rule to it. But with the bustle, a lot of people say to me, so when do I bustle my dress, Laura? Do I do it once we're finished at the ceremony part? Or do I do it after the drinks reception? Or do I do it before dancing? I kind of say, I suppose do it when, obviously for your photographs, you want to show off the full dress. So like you're not going to bustle up your dress and then go out and take photographs and the beautiful train is no longer visible, if that makes sense. Now, unless you're not overly bothered and you just kind of wanted it for that big dramatic aisle walk. But I suppose, do you say the same? It's kind of like a case of bustle it when you're ready, or
it's a personal thing. I suppose for practical reasons, the first dance is probably a good time to do that. So after the meal, before the first dance, it's a good time to go do that.
Well, just setting up, go to the room.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But I mean, if you're sitting down for dinner, is it possible to sit in the bustle, or is it like
It's not an extra bit, Benny. It's just the dress being literally
folded
on itself.
If they're kind of like going into their drinks reception then, and they're kind of like, here, I just want to bustle this. They can go for it.
Oh, they can.
We always do the sit-down challenge as well when they come for their final
fitting. Oh, really?
Just to make sure it's true.
You'd be like backing up. I can get there. Sitting in the ceremony, think of it like I'm here. Can you imagine?
Goes back to the practicality.
It does go back to the practicality. And I suppose when it comes to, because I'll get away from alterations and bustling at the moment, but because these are all the things you hear people talking about. Do you know that kind of way? So if you hear them talking about it, you're kind of aware of this is what's going through their brain. So I suppose when it comes to your wedding shoes, and obviously all wedding shoes, you can go from flat to a 6-inch heel. Everybody's different. But I would imagine you should at least have your shoe height picked or your shoes bought before you do your final alterations lengthwise.
Even the first one. Like we can't see somebody for alterations without their shoe. And it has to be the shoe. Because they're like, oh, it's similar. And you're like, no, it has to be the actual.
Even if they have the intention to have whatever X amount of heel, like, and then they pick something and it's not exactly that.
There's nothing worse than seeing something off the floor or something that's too long.
Or they're falling over, just kicking up the aisle.
So we always, we remind them a lot to make sure you have the shoe. And we always send a text the day of the fittings. And you'd be surprised the amount of people that rock up and the shoes are not anywhere. But
I've had lads in the morning that couldn't find his shoes.
Oh, really?
Like we're in a hotel, we can't find his shoes. In fairness, so like shoes are tricky.
And when it comes to a shoe, comfort is key. Now we do have a lot of dresses with slits at the moment, so obviously the shoe is seen.
But
it's a feature. It's a feature,
okay.
exactly. And that's when you can go for your coloured shoe or your
bling or your bow or your
My advice is always something comfortable,
okay,
something you will wear again.
Sure.
Like if you're not used to wearing heels, your wedding day ain't a good time to start.
No. And some girls don't wear heels. They wear flat sandal or they wear a pair of cons.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't see the shoes.
I know.
If the ball gown's big enough, you'll never see the shoe again. It's kind of, it's in there somewhere.
And I think, like, even myself, I used to wear heels all the time to work. And now, like, you have so much used to stay. Like, I'm literally, since lockdown, I think we all got used to wearing runners, slippers.
Oh, my heels are dusty upstairs. Grace. I haven't had them out since.
So that's what I always say to brides. And it's now socially acceptable to go out with flat shoes. So
no, it totally is.
Yeah.
Because sure, when we were younger, if you went out without a pair of heels on, like, you weren't dressed up. Nowadays, they put on a pair of miniskirt and they go out with a pair of flats.
Yeah. Look, whatever makes you feel most amazing. Okay. And then we get, like, my partner's taller, my partner's smaller, or they're all things to take into consideration as well.
Yeah, because there is some girls that are genuinely taller than their partner, and I suppose, like, and they do, and some people are totally fine with it. They're like, well, this is our height, and this is who we are, and I always wear heels, so he's shorter than me, and whatever it is. But then there's some people that they would go shorter just to kind of keep it level, even. Or
go higher to be closer to the height of their partner.
Oh, that's the other side of things. Yeah, so some guys could be 6'5" and you could be 5'4".
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
I know. But if you do want to wear a heel for that reason, a block heel with a strap.
Good call. You
can't go too wrong.
You can't need a block heel as well if you're having, like, an outdoor ceremony in a garden area somewhere that you're not sinking into grass, or, you know, even if there's a carpet put down, the carpet's still sinking it. Like, so these are all little things that
and, like, I don't see that side of it. So
the end product when they're actually using it. Exactly. And I suppose on that subject as well, so, like, that's the shoes that you definitely would need them, especially for your last fitting. Like, it's
for your first fitting.
For your first fitting, and then bring them through to your last fitting, I suppose, to make sure it's right. But when you're going in to pick out the dress, is there anything, because these, like, if you were going in, you're like, oh, what do I need to bring with me? What do I need to wear? What, like, do I need to have tan on? Do I need to have makeup on? Should my hair be up or down? Do people think this way, or do they just show up?
Some people do.
Yeah.
I would say comfortable clothes.
Okay.
Because you're getting in and out of dresses, so something comfortable. Tan and makeup, it's a very personal thing. I mean, obviously we do look after our dresses an awful lot in the store, and because like we do sell off the peg dresses to people and things like that, so we do like to keep them nice and clean.
It's true though, you don't want it scraping off.
No drinking cups of coffee.
But we don't have a no tan, no makeup policy, because I know some people won't go outside the door without their makeup and tan. Sure. And if they're coming in, they're not going to feel comfortable and confident in a wedding dress.
Because they just feel undressed on their face.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So if they need to do that, that's absolutely fine. But what we do say is nothing like instant or no like bronzers on your neck and stuff like that. That's going to transfer onto the dress, because we don't want, we want to keep them nice and not grubby. So
makes sense. Yeah, it does. It's a less a heartache for you, Grace, to be fair. And then I suppose, like, so keeping on the accessory, do you sell veils as well then?
Yeah, we do.
Do you find, because I still see more veils than without veils, do you find that most of your brides will wear a veil?
I would say 90%. Yeah. And like even the girls that say, no, I don't want to wear a veil. Yeah. And then let's just try one, and then it's like, wow.
There's the finished product.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the mums love the veils as well. But
they do, because I think they feel like it's not a wedding dress without a veil. I know, I've seen many girls not wear a veil, and they would wear some sort of accessory in their hair or something, and that's lovely as well. But do you sell all different lengths of veils then?
Yeah, all different lengths, depending on the length of the dress. We have a lot of feature veils as well. We have a lot of floral, 3D flowers, colour.
I saw one of those last year actually. They were little pink?
Yeah, we have
pink flowers, kind of all up. It was really unusual. It was gorgeous. Yeah.
Now it depends on the dress. Like your dress would probably want to be quite simplistic if you're wearing such a feature veil like that. But it is a real big part of it now. It's not just complementing the dress, it's more of like the
add a white veil to your white dress, or whatever. I'm just saying white is a casual term, but a lot of them wouldn't actually be white.
No, nothing is white.
Nothing is white. You just think white wedding dress, but I know they're all champagne in different colours like that. So and do you find that people still go for the the cathedral length veils, the big ones? Do you still get a lot of that?
Yeah, I do a lot of that. Just something that comes over the train of the dress usually, and then, and then the short ones, you don't see them very often. They're coming back. They are coming back. Like I do, because nobody wanted a short veil for years, and now I find see, we buy so far in advance. Like I'm in the middle of buying season now at the moment, and we're buying for like 2025, 2026 brides.
Okay.
And I do see a lot of like different things like that, like short veils and just.
So do you get to go to a lot of fashion shows and runways?
Yeah.
That sounds really that sounds like a really kind of like fun job,
Glamorous.
Grace. I must say, you get to travel to fashion shows.
Running a business is not glamorous, is it? It's kind of like when you have to travel for work. It can be tough, can't it? It can be heavy hours. You're trying to make sure that the store is still working well and that everything is functioning, and then you're trying to go off to a fashion show and enjoy yourself and kind of really concentrate.
Yeah. I think I've got 9 shows this year, and they're like I've had 4 in the last 5 weeks. So
wow. Okay, thanks for coming in, Grace.
Yeah, I know. And I'm off again tomorrow morning. Yeah. So you know what? It's lovely, and I love seeing the trends, and it is amazing because we get to meet the designers, and we get to speak to them about their designs, and we get to meet other.
Do you get to give them feedback on how you find that, like the way it works and fits, and what people like, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's fabulous because when I started the business, we used to go to like big trade shows, and they'd have like 50 designers under one roof, and you're kind of going. Whereas now they're all doing their individual shows, which. It's amazing that we have that personal experience with them, and we get to meet everybody and get to see all the designs, and spend a lot more time choosing in each individual ones. But then like the flip side of that is you're out of the store a lot, trying to juggle family life and pulling in favours from neighbours and parents and
then you went to adopted a puppy on top of
I know, and a cat. But
and then go on. So you get to meet all these designers, but if people are kind of wondering what designers you carry, go on, drop some names there and kind of tell us what in stores do you have access to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our designers would be a lot of our designers are American, Australian. We have some Spanish designers as well. Okay. I don't know if people are familiar.
And does that impact kind of the styles that they naturally?
It would be Grace, actually, because I'm going to cut across it. They would be, because a lot of people would be like, when I'm chatting away to them, the amount of people that drop designer wedding dress names, because you'd actually be surprised, and then people start to pick it up. It's kind of like they'd be like, oh yeah, my friend a year ago, she also wore him, or she also wore her, kind of thing. So you would be surprised actually. A lot of people would follow the hashtag of their design, and they'd be looking out for, as you said, the 2025, 2026, what's coming up, what's coming in. I wonder will Grace have it.
And a lot of designers have their own look as well, and like I suppose being a city centre boutique, we don't just have one particular look, we have like something to suit everybody. So like from the like we do, as I said, Spanish designers, a lot of clean lines, very kind of sophisticated bridal looks. And then we would have like, so that would be like a Rosa Clará, a St. Patrick. And then we have like Enzoani, which would be a lot more fashion forward, a lot of bling.
I've seen a lot of Enzoani.
They're amazing. They're amazing. A lot of cutouts. Like it's a lot of the time Enzoani is for that kind of, I won't say younger because it doesn't matter what age you are, but like that more risky bride that wants to look a bit more sexy, a little bit more like, fitted, big long train, that kind of way. And then we also do like, I suppose, our Fenoli collection. And then Martina Liana, Evie Young. So I'm forgetting some now, but we do, and like size wise as well, we stock everything in store from a size 8 to a size 30.
Oh, so, amazing!
It's amazing. It's so important that that everybody gets.
You're inclusive again. Like I saw that from the website. I was about to say it. You seem very inclusive, and it's kind of it's a rounded kind of service whereby there seems to be a reasonable kind of range of price, and then also like the range of size as well. It's covering all. You're not just narrowing yourself into one specific corner. It seems to be quite flexible to people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just don't think you can shut yourself off and just be one thing. Everybody is different. So like, why not have everything for everybody? So
she's growling. She's growling. She found the ball.
She's actually torn apart a teddy.
Good stuff.
She's keeping herself busy, Grace. So I suppose as well as wedding dresses, then there's like, when it comes to the actual bridal party, or nowadays the groom's party, because the grooms will be having the girls as well. Flower girls.
Maids. It's very tricky.
No. It can be groomsmaids or it can be groom's party. We had a groom's party there last weekend. The groom's party.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are they still maids?
I don't think anybody should call them maid. It's a weird term.
It's bridal party. You see, what they did was...
I prefer bridal party or groom's party.
People just go bridal party, right?
Yeah.
So what the lads were saying, no, we're having a groom's party. So it was really kind of like, there's no bridal party, even though it's a wedding. We're having a groom's party.
I like it.
But you're still a groomsmaid.
Or
a matron. Some people might be matrons, Zora. Laura's going to be a matron next year.
Maid of honours next year for my friends. And he keeps calling me matron of honour. He keeps calling me matron of honour. I'm like, cheers. But yeah, if you're a bride's party, groom's party, and there's flower girls, and there's obviously the people that are coming with you, you sell the flower girl dresses as well, don't you?
We do indeed. So the way our boutique is laid out, upstairs is the bridal suite, and downstairs is for bridesmaids and flower girls.
Yeah.
We have got about 350 bridesmaids dresses. So
wow. Oh God. Okay.
I know.
And is there multiple colours then within that as well?
Yeah,
or, oh God, it's such a massive choice.
I thought our album list was like 100 times 5 colours. This sounds off the charts. Wow. What's options? Yeah.
So yeah, we do 3 different bridesmaids designers, and then for each bridesmaids designer, there's so many colour options and things like that. So yeah.
And do you find that, like, you know, the way you see where all the girls would wear the same? They'd wear the same colour, the same cut, the same dress. And then you see days where they'd have a slightly different colour palette, or they'd have maybe the same dress, but it has different necklines. And I've seen that more and more. Are you noticing that?
Absolutely. And it's always our advice. Now, if you get like 3 girls and they're all the same size and the same, like the same style.
Unusual.
And I do find as well there are bigger wedding parties these days. Huge. I don't know if you see that.
No, we are.
Definitely. Like it's now, it's more common for people to say 4, whereas previously it would be kind of 2 would be more of that.
But 3, 4 is normal.
5 and 6. And like, it's just very rare to have one dress that's going to suit 6 girls. So
6 grown women as well. Yeah.
Exactly. And there could be a huge age difference as well. Like because we do teen dresses as well. So I find like you could have the 15-year-old niece and you could have the 50-year-old sister, or whatever the case may be.
But that's right. They try to include like the niece. They don't like to exclude her, but they still want the sister.
And she's too old to be a flower girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
There is a thin line there. But we would just say choose your colour and your fabric, and then we will style the girls to what suits them. Amazing. Most brides are good with that. Like if you can get that one dress to suit everybody, happy days. But they need to dress their personality. There is nothing worse than seeing 4 girls, the dress might be amazing on 2 or 3, and the other one is standing there like feeling really uncomfortable and self-conscious and.
Hiding behind the bouquet.
Yeah.
I find,
it's awful, and they're obviously not having a good time because they don't feel good. So it's just, again, it's similar to bridal. They just need to feel amazing. You know, if you're spending all this money and having all this time picking out the right dress, you need the bridesmaids' dresses to be beautiful, and you need them to be happy and comfortable. And
they do need to be comfortable all day. Like they're being helpful, and then they're going places, and they have to go. Be kind of they're on show and they're performing, and they're also helping and being practical. So it's like they do have to be comfortable. So if they're uncomfortable and they're trying to help you enjoy your day, and they're also trying to do little tasks and whatever, it's like
if you can't move in the bridesmaid's dress, you're not going to be able to bend down and flick out the train of the wedding dress, are you?
Absolutely not. No,
it's so true, especially in a ceremony when it's like there could be 200-300 people sitting there, and you know you might move the bride and to do her vows, and they want to fix the dress and the veil, so you've got that beautiful showing off the dress while you're doing the vows and the rings and all the stuff. And the bridesmaids, like some days they just fly out and they bend down, they flick it out, and they fly back again. And other days they're kind of like, you can tell they're moving slowly because they're afraid that something will move or budge, or they can't actually kind of get down there. But because it's obviously you need to look good. It's number one. You need to feel confident. But you need to be practical.
Absolutely.
Like you're there to help the bride on the wedding day, in and out of cars, fixing dresses, everything and anything that goes with it.
And it has to be like what the bridesmaids choose has to kind of tie in with what the bride is wearing as well, to a certain degree. Like we sometimes get bridesmaids that come in, or brides come in for bridesmaids dresses, they haven't got their own dress first, and I'm like, that's a no-no, because
well, that would be very early, would it?
Again, now it's the bride trying to please the sister or the friend as opposed to thinking about herself. But we always say get the bridal dress first because the girls then need to tie in with you. You know, you need to stand out. You you don't want to choose like a really slim fitted bridal dress and then the girls come in big tall ball gowns, you know, so
I think it overshadowing you almost.
I think it just needs to just tie in, you know, maybe if the bride is wearing a high neckline, might be nice for the girls to wear something open, things like that. But again, it's like personal choice and they need something that makes them feel fabulous.
And I suppose material is a big thing as well because certain materials are quite clingy, other materials are more forgiving, and it's kind of, again, it's back to the I feel good, I feel confident.
And dressing for your shape and dressing for your personality and
it makes sense. And then the flower girls as well, I suppose the flower girls
they're so cute.
Yeah, you like I think I see more of, I suppose, the little mini ball gown version of the flower girls, and that I think that'll never go away, will it?
No,
the little poofy dresses and little bling.
Yeah, they're cute, and a lot of time tie in they like tying in the colour of the bridesmaids dresses somewhere in with the flower girl dress. So like all of our flower dresses, you can go ivory with them, or you can go whatever colour the girls are wearing.
So
or
you
like
can get the full dress in the colour
or
beautiful.
just maybe add in a little sash or a flower or something like that. But no, they're doty. Like
it is very, very cute. A lot of people nowadays, it's their own kids are their flower girls and their page boys, and it's so important that they feel, because it's their day. It's so funny, especially when they're like, say, you know, the 5 or 6. And they like completely understand what's happening. Mum and dad are getting married, and it's like they're totally, this is my wedding day too.
Yeah, of course.
And the fact that they can go in and share that little experience with their daughter, so that's gorgeous.
It's lovely. It's lovely to get them involved. It really, really is.
And it kind of matches in. That's lovely. So yeah, I suppose then with the I know, because I meant to ask you back. I'm tracking back, and Benny will kill me.
That's all right.
Colours when it comes to wedding dresses. Okay. So like, you know, the way you have ivory. I say white, but it's never actually white if you think about it. But do people, because you mentioned that colours in the veil, like the little flowers and things, but do you do coloured wedding dresses as well?
I do.
You know, the way you see kind of like, not very often, but you'll come across this is dramatic now, a black wedding dress. Is that something that you can provide?
We have a couple of black wedding dresses,
Wow.
Big trend in America at the moment.
Yeah.
And I always find what happens in America and bridal kind of filters through to, you know, the European and the Irish market or the UK market, whatever.
Yeah.
A few years later, so I think I was probably a bit too soon with the black wedding dresses, but we are being asked for them now.
Ahead of the times, Grace. You're ahead of the times.
I'm ahead of the times, trendsetter. But yeah, we see an awful lot of colour. Particularly with Irish skin tones as well, like as I said, white is kind of a no-go. There was a time actually when white was available in most dresses and things like that, but very, very rare would you see it done now. It's
washes you out, doesn't it, a bit?
It does, yeah. The warmer tones are better. And I'm kind of slightly digressing there now, but with the flower girl dresses, if the bride is wearing ivory, make sure that the flower girl is wearing ivory, because if you see white next to it, it almost makes it look dirty.
That is really helpful, because people might not realise that. They all they see is the little girl in the dress, and like that's perfect.
Yeah.
And then they don't realise until standing beside it.
Yeah. Or pop in, like if you bought your wedding dress from us, got your flower girl dress elsewhere, come in, bring it in, put it up next to the dress just to make sure. Or like we can provide you with a swatch or whatever, because it just in photographs.
It stands out so much.
Maybe it's just me that would
No, but if your eye does that,
we would have eyes like that. Some people might not notice it, but I do notice that when the flower girl dresses are very white and she's wearing a champagne or something, and it's very different. It's very different.
But you can always forgive little girls if somebody's done it. It's okay. It's a little girl, so there's always the get out of jail where it's like it doesn't matter. It's a little girl spinning around the dress, and she's so happy. It's gas looking at the flower girls. They really love it, don't they?
So black is going to come on trend. I'm excited. I better see a black wedding dress out this year. I'm going to be excited for it. I'm going to go, Grace, is this yours? Is this yours? Yeah.
We have sold a few black wedding dresses to some very, very brave girls, and they're amazing. Look, white, like the ivory isn't for everybody. No, it really isn't. No. We do see an awful lot of champagne tones as well, nude undertones, things like that. I suppose from your point of view, you probably see the detail of the dress a bit more when there's a deeper tone underneath.
You do, especially if there's like a bit of a lace pattern on it, or even a bit of bit of bling, a little bit of sparkle, a
Yeah.
bit of glitter.
We would always put sand or nude, things like that behind it. And when the girls come in for their fitting and they're not sure what colour they want, we provide like different colours that we put underneath. So we have like literally a metre of your stand fabric, your ivory fabric, your nude fabric that we can put underneath so that they can see what it will look like and visualise it.
There's so much thought goes into it.
I know there is, yeah.
But it is totally worth it though, because the end product is just like that wow factor, isn't it? Yeah. So black might be coming. Is there any other colours you do?
Blue, light blue. Yeah. I've seen an awful lot of that, particularly this now again because we buy so far in advance. But I've seen an awful lot of blue in the last few weeks as well.
Wouldn't it be amazing if colours started coming in? Yeah, it'd be lovely. Yeah.
Or flower, like different, like I suppose ivory dresses, but with coloured flowers and that on the dresses itself. Yeah.
We had a wedding 2 weeks ago, and she had a dress, and it did have the colour flowers on it. And I kind of walked into the room, and he even noticed it.
It must have been special.
I suppose it suited her, really did. She picked right, like in the sense of that.
Well, she had quite a pale complexion, and she had blonde hair. So she said that when she was kind of, I asked her, did you try on like, more of a plainer colour or a traditional kind of wedding dress colour? And she said she did, and she had kind of seen this before and had in her mind that she might like it, and then tried it on and was like, oh no, wait, this is me.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that lovely though? Yeah. But it kind of opens doors for people though, because a lot of time people think, God, a wedding dress. I don't wear dresses. And do so not me, but people say I don't wear dresses, and then the thought of wearing a wedding dress, you're kind of going, God, that doesn't feel like me at all. Do you do so? Obviously, the colour is something that people can kind of like bring their personality in, which is amazing. Do you do anything that's not a dress?
We do. We have trouser suits.
Nice.
And we have jumpsuits.
Wow. Okay.
So like it's not for everybody, and I keep going back to shop for your personality. You want to express yourself on your wedding day. So we have some really cool.
So you don't have to wear a dress on your wedding day.
Nope. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can wear. You could show up in a black trouser. That would go too far. Yeah.
And just out of interest, so you mentioned the bridal kind of experience of how they shop. Then the bridesmaids, how does that work in terms of kind of like, is that by appointment as well?
Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
Kind of
so everything is private because I suppose we want to give people time, and where we're based as well. If we had an open door policy,
you'd have everyone going.
And you have mum, come on in, I show you.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel bad when people come to the door and I'm like, sorry,
peeping in the window.
But generally speaking, people know that when you go to a bridal shop, we do work by appointment, and it's exactly the same for the bridesmaids.
Okay.
And I suppose to give people a rough idea as well, like how not but obviously they contact you by phone or email or the form online. But what's the kind of lead time for appointments? Is it like, is there times when it's just like it's chocker, like if people are kind of like trying to plan their time?
I would say give yourself as much time as you possibly can, like particularly if you're looking for a weekend appointment. Our Saturdays do tend to book out kind of 4 to 6 weeks in advance.
Wow. Okay.
And then midweek I'd always give a week or two. So that's
during the week, obviously most people are 9 to 5, are kind of more kind of working, and but obviously weekends is they can coordinate numbers of people together.
Of course, again, because I suppose where we are located, they love getting the girls around, going for a few glasses of bubbly, and
that's
after the appointment.
Come in and open a bottle of bubbly.
Someone once said that it's like your wedding can be fun and you can go somewhere and have a good time, and then but like try not to make a decision like when you've kind of had too many glasses of champagne.
Some girls love the whole wedding dress experience. Like they would do the weekend over and over, like in all around the country in different shops. A lot of time they end up back at the first place they went to because they had their eye on the dress they wanted. But it's kind of just more for the experience.
It happens. With the girls. It happens. Like I personally, I'm not that type of shopper myself. Like when I got married, I literally went in, had a lovely experience, got the first dress I tried on.
Wow.
Perfect. So then when I see people...
I did one day, Grace.
Did you?
One day with the girls. I went to 2 different shops and literally just put a deposit down and went home. I just like that in all aspects of life anyway. But some people are more like, they just don't make decisions easy, and they feel like even though they may have found the dress, they still feel as if they're missing out on the days out and stuff like that. And like we would never pressurize anybody into buying something, even if we think the one. It's like you do what you need to do, and they'll always come back if it is the one, and we want somebody to be 100% before they commit, because
it's not in our favour if they're not, because
you don't want last minute or second thinking it, do you?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's 100%. And then do a lot of people do 2 wedding dresses though? I know you said like obviously the skirts and sleeves and the accessories, you can add things or take things off and veils on and off, and it's kind of a way of changing it up for the evening. But do you get the 2 wedding dress requests?
Much rarer now than what it used to be because of all of the changes.
Yes.
And
but you don't have to, I suppose, do you?
No, you don't. And when people come in and they ask for 2, I say, look, can we just have a look at one and see what we can do with one?
Okay.
I'm probably doing myself out of money by doing that, but at the same time, it's
honest.
It's honest, and I feel as if they have to love it enough that they don't want to get out of it until 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, that they just.
No, that's
but
great.
I genuinely have been at wedding days where they'll tell me I have 2 dresses, and you know I'm going to say put on the second one for the first dance. That's the plan, just a rough plan. And the amount of times that you'll be there and you go up to them and I know the bands are about 20 minutes away from starting. She's still in the first dress, and I'll say like if you want to change that dress now, like you have to go now because they're going to come looking for you. And they're so funny. They're like, oh, I don't want to take it off. And you're so right. Wow. You're like I like the other one as well, but I'm like. Oh, now that I'm in it, I'm just feeling great. No, they do usually go take it off, but you kind of like have to kind of push them out the door.
Yeah. And then they're taking time out of their wedding then.
That's a good one.
You know, and they're like, they like if somebody is changing into a different dress, they could be changing into a different neckline, which might mean different hair. It might mean like if it's a more casual look, they might want like a bright red lip as opposed to, you know, so like it's not just the dress. They might have to change the shoes. They could be gone for an hour and they're missing the crack on the wedding that they've spent so much money on. And
it's so true though, because like, and I know some people like to take a bit of time out to themselves because it can be very overwhelming with a lot of people, and of course, everyone kind of, I suppose, is different when it comes to social interactions. But you're dead right. It's kind of like because when you're talking to people and they say that to me, they say I've actually got a second dress and my upside actually is going to come back, and she's going to put my hair. It was up and now it's going to be down, and I'm going to just change this. And I kind of get, and I say the same, like, okay, so when are you doing this? And when is this hour happening? Like, because you need to kind of put it in that you're not leaving. Obviously, you don't want your band to start too late because you want to get the most out of them. But you also don't want you to leave your guests waiting. That there's kind of that lingering kind of like, well, we can't start because it's taking you a bit longer to change the hair or the dress. Now, as I said, this might be for some people and they're like, they don't really mind and they're going to go upstairs and they're going to, you know, redo it all. But it does make things a lot easier just to literally go clip, off it goes, throw it away. You'll wrap it around your head later. It is true. So I suppose for the 2024 season, what's trending this year? What are we going to be seeing? Because we're at the start of the year now.
Like wedding dresses are, I always say, go with something that isn't trending.
Okay. I like it.
You're going to be looking back in years and years to come.
I know what you mean. When we always have the aunt who says, look what I made you wear to the bridesmaids or something like that. So you're probably talking about those lines, like just because it's in vogue for 6 months.
I think you just need, like there are always going to be little trends. Like I do find, say like the low V and the high slit, and these are things that are kind of creeping in, open corsets, outside bodices, things like that. But bows.
Yeah.
Randy told us last week he doesn't trust anybody that doesn't like a bow. So we're like, okay.
You know what you're wearing the next time you see him then, throw on your bow, just show up with this massive bow.
Bows are everywhere. But I just think you need to go with something that you're going to look back in years to come and go, like my wedding dress that I wore, I should know this, 13 years ago. You know, I'll still look back on, I would have chosen that today. You know,
that's amazing.
You don't regret it, that decision. Do you regret yours?
No, I loved my wedding dress.
You're probably right. Like if you think
and styles don't change that much. Like you might see different features, different fabrics, things like that, but styles and shapes and things like that, they're pretty much, you know, stay the same over a course of time.
Because they work.
Because they work.
That's exactly. That's very true. But Grace, thanks so much for coming
You were
in.
more than
Yeah,
welcome.
so much information
There was
there.
so much, and I could keep asking you questions, but I kind of feel like I might keep you here for the rest of the afternoon, and we could deep dive into dark corners, Grace. Too much information.
No, I knew all this information. It's amazing when you're sitting there and it starts coming out, isn't it?
You'd be coming in going, do I know the answer now? You live and breathe it. It's kind of like it's second nature though too, I suppose at this point.
Yeah, you even survived the puppy. I mean, she was.
I know, I'm very
she was on one today.
I love puppies.
She was on one today though. Hopefully she'll be coming for the next guest.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to start walking her.
I will. But Grace, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.